think you were quite at the last one, but that's all right. We're going to start with a little bit of review today before we get into a little bit of some new stuff as well. But very cool. So I'm going to bring up my notes for today just to see as maybe people are coming in to get started. So let's see. For last week, we went over a few different things. We went over just the beginning of making our own little staff, starting with our treble clef, learning some of the notes on the staff in our treble clef, as well as our rhythms. So just a nice introduction to just learning to read on our first staff here. And treble clef is usually a really good place to start. So nice, we got some more people. Give another couple minutes here. I'll keep this part up on the screen. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So if this is your first time joining us, for right now, the students are going to stay muted, and then as we have questions and get into a little bit, I'll unmute you guys, or you can use the chat as well to let me know if you have questions. But hi, thanks for joining us. Very cool, getting a few more in here. We're giving it just a couple minutes for everybody to come in and show up. But I was just going over a little bit of what we did during the first workshop. So I'm going to see if we see some new faces today. I'll do a little more review, and if we see some people who had joined us last week, then we can move ahead a little bit, but we'll see what everyone's comfortable with when we start. But anyways, so I'll just go over a little more review of what we did last week, see if a couple more people come in, and if not, we can get started in just a minute. So if you don't have already, you guys, make sure you have just a blank piece of paper and a pencil. That's really the only thing you'll need. And then if you have any written music that you have questions about, so if you have anything that you've been working on with your teacher or with their music class or music school, yeah, go ahead and grab whatever you need for this. And let me know. At the end, I'm going to have a little time to have some questions if you guys have questions about reading some of the music that you're working on. Cool. Can you hear me all right? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear and see me okay? Cool. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So like I said, if you got a blank piece of paper and you have a pencil, we'll start by writing a few things out. And then we might clap some rhythms today. We're going to focus a little bit more on the note reading, I think, today, and a few other things. So what I want to try to get to today, if we can, is learning about different types of rests. And then if we jump to the bass clef, which we haven't talked about yet, and then understanding ledger lines, right? Those lines that go a little bit above and below the staff. So no worries if some of this is new for you, no problem. But why don't we go ahead and, yeah, we'll give it one more minute, see if everyone's coming in. But I think most of the people I see here were not at the last week's note reading, but tell me, I said Samida, am I saying that right? Or Samida, I don't know if that's your name or maybe parent's name, but have you been reading music before? I see you playing piano over there. Have you started reading music already? Maybe. All right, no worries. Okay, so let's do this, you guys. We'll give it, just now it seems like everybody's come in, and if anyone comes in a little later, we'll be all right. So I'm gonna go over just a quick review of what I went over last week, and then we're gonna build on to that today, okay? So from last week, I'm gonna bring up a new share for you guys. Last week we talked about just a couple basic things to get us started, right? So I think the first place we started was with our note rhythms, okay? So I'm gonna bring up a page here that's gonna have our note rhythms, all right? If you can see that, okay. So this might be something you're familiar with if you've already started reading a little bit. And if not, that's okay. This is a nice way to just keep track of our different types of note rhythms, right? So the first one we have up over here is our whole note, okay? And in 4/4 time, right, our whole note lasts for 4 beats, right? And our half note is half of that, right? So that would be how many beats? You want to hold up fingers? 1, 2, 3, or 4? All right, we got 2 beats for this one, okay? So then we continue on to our quarter notes, as we know that this is going to keep us with 1 beat. All right, and then the 8th note, kind of like a half of a beat, and we can talk a little bit more about what that means too. If you haven't copied some of this stuff down already, go ahead on your piece of paper, you can copy it down very similar to the way that I have mine written, okay? It'll be a great place to start just to keep track of your rhythms, and what I'm hoping to do is get you guys some kind of written materials that will help you so that when you look at the music you're working on, if you forget a little bit, kind of which note, how many beats there are, or exactly where on the lines and the spaces, you know, the note that you're reading is at, this will help you. It's just something to keep nearby. And the next few steps moving forward is to try to memorize some of this stuff too. And we'll get to that as well. All right, got a couple more people coming in. Nice. Give another couple minutes. Hi, thanks for joining. Yeah, go ahead. If you don't already, go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pencil. All right, and then any music you have that you might need help with, go ahead and grab that too if you have any questions about music that you've been working on. But I'm going to stay on the review for just another few more minutes just before we move to some of that other stuff. And I know I can see some people are still getting kind of set up, so no worries, you guys. I'll keep going while you guys get set up. So we're just looking at our different note values here, right? So what we see here is our whole note getting 4 beats, half note gets 2 beats, our quarter note gets 1 beat, and our eighth note gets half of a beat. So if you don't have any of this stuff copied down yet, go ahead and get some of this read out. Nice. I see some of you guys getting your pencils and papers. Very good. I see some of you guys are set up already. That's good. All right. So before we start, now you guys are getting set up over there. I wanted to start by asking, does anybody have questions on just what we're looking at here, okay? So you can either raise your hand, wave your hand if you want to, or you can just type to me in the chat and I will see if you have any questions, okay? How do we feel about what's on the screen now? Do we have questions about that? We're good? Okay, just trying to keep track of everybody now that we're all coming in here. Nice, okay, I see some of you guys are here from last time. Very good, okay, I like that. Thanks for joining us. So we covered a little bit of this last time, our note values and our rhythms, okay? So if you have some of this, that's very good. Don't worry, I can always come back to this stuff. So don't worry, if you need to see this stuff again, just let me know. I got this stuff up and ready for us. Now we're gonna take a look at the treble clef. So this is something we checked out a little bit during the first workshop. All right, so let me pull this one up for you guys. Now, if you remember, during the first workshop, we put together kind of step by step sort of our little cheat sheet for our notes for the treble clef, right? So I have one that's already made up here for you guys. And if you would like to either take a picture from your screen or copy this down, definitely should do that if you get a chance. And like I said, I will bring this stuff back as needed. Nice, okay, I see we got, nice, some of you guys got the papers already, very good. Very good, I like that. So what we covered in that first workshop, just to go over one last time, since I know a couple other people just kind of signed in, we covered our beginning, our note rhythms and our values. And then now what we're looking at here are our notes for treble clef. Okay, so if this is new for you, I want to spend just another minute or two on this before we move on to the new stuff today, okay? Just to make sure you guys got this. I see some of you guys writing this down. Awesome. Looks good, thank you. Go ahead and copy this down as well. And like I said, if you have questions about this too, we can always go over this again. What's so great about note reading, you guys, is you use the basics all the time. I mean, I tell people, students and other teachers and musicians like that, you know, this kind of stuff is so important. And I use the basics every single day that I'm teaching. And I'm sure other teachers would agree. These notes on the treble clef, this is stuff that I and probably many other teachers have memorized over our time learning and teaching. So it's so great to go over it again. And it helps me a lot too, even to go over it with you guys. So don't worry, if you know some of this stuff already, it's still really good to go over it. And I'm gonna make sure I can add on to that a little bit as well. So I'll give it just another minute or so on this, if you guys haven't had this copied down. And then we'll continue as well. All right, nice, okay. Seems like we got a nice group in here. So I think we should be ready to continue in just a minute. Awesome. I see a couple of you guys writing. I'll give you another couple seconds and then we'll move on to what we're going to be covering today, okay? Perfect. Any questions while we wait here? Doing okay? Okay, awesome, you guys. Okay, so if you have some of those notes for treble clef written down, and if you have some of our rhythm notes, our quarter note, whole note, half note, and eighth notes, we're going to use those too. So like I said, don't worry, we'll come back to that. I see someone still writing, so I'll let you finish up one more minute on that writing. That's okay, you take your time. And we did have a little saying for this, in case anybody, and there's lots of different ones, right? But if you remember for this one, we had every good, I'll change it up to boy does fine, right? So this is a good way to remember. If you have a hard time memorizing right away, that's okay. You can use this little saying to help you out get started by remembering the notes. Just remember that what's important here is our first letter, right? That's what's really important. So remember, you use the saying to help you with those first letters. Nice. See, still writing that down. That's very good. If this helps you, totally get this down. We're going to use something just like this when we look at our bass clef as well. So it's good to get in the pattern of that. Cool. All right, cool. We got that. All right, looks good. All right, so guys, now we're going to go out. First, we're going to talk about rests today. Okay, so last week we had not quite talked about rests, and we had mostly worked on our first notes, okay? So just like on this one here, just like on this one, we have whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note. Same goes for rests, okay? We're gonna have a whole rest, a half rest, and a quarter rest, and an eighth rest, right? So this is what the note values look like when we have rhythms for specific notes, and it's gonna look very similar for our rest, okay? So I'm gonna pull up now the sheet that I have with our basic rest rhythms, all right? And then I'm gonna have some questions for you guys, so get ready. I wanna see if we get a couple people to answer, all right? And it's all right if we're feeling shy today or something, that's okay. But I wanna see if somebody knows the answers to some of this stuff, okay? So it took me a while to draw out some of these, okay? The whole rest and the half rest are pretty simple. What's important to know, and while you're going through this, you can make another staff with your 5 lines and kind of draw out each one that I have segmented out just like this, okay? So I'm just gonna talk for one more minute and then I'm gonna get you guys, have a couple questions for you. So here, our whole rest, a good way to remember the whole difference between a whole rest and a half rest, if this helps you guys. The whole rest you can think of as like a hole in the ground. So it's underneath the middle line, right? It's underneath the middle line. So it's like a little hole. And then for the half rest, you might have guessed it, you kind of think of that as like a hat, right? A hat rest. So it's just a good way to get started, just to get started on memorizing, but eventually, of course, we want to remember the exact names themselves. But this is a good way to just remember a little bit the difference between them, because it can be kind of tough when you see them, especially if you're reading kind of quickly. It can be hard to remember sometimes. And then, of course, the quarter rest and the eighth rest look very different from the other symbols on there. So do your best to copy those. I know they're kind of hard. It took me a little bit to get those down. I see you guys writing this all down. This is awesome. Thank you so much. And then I'm going to ask you, okay, so as you guys are finishing up writing this down, you can actually have you hold up, you can actually just hold up your hand for me, I think will work best. How many beats are we going to have in a whole rest, okay? So whole rest equals how many beats? Okay, so you might remember from what we went over when we talked about our note values. Did anyone know? Yes, nice. We got somebody in there. Very good. 4, right? Okay, so we have 4 beats for our whole rest down here, okay? So it's not a trick question. It just follows the same type of pattern we did with our note values. So our whole rest is for 4 beats. And I'm gonna see if I can just add to this one. Now, next question coming up, you probably can guess, for our half rest. So if our whole rest is 4, half rest is half of that. I'm gonna change this up. Then how many do we have for this? For our half rest, how many beats would our half rest be? Let's see if we can get somebody else to answer this one too. Thank you, though. I know it's a good start. How many beats, you guys? You hold them up? 1, 2, 3, or 4? It's okay if we're not sure. Okay, somebody says 1 beat. Okay, we're close there. 1 beat. Okay, so 1 beat is coming up. So that's very good. We're going to get to that one, and I'll put that one in here now. For our quarter rest is going to get 1 beat. So that's good. We're going to put that one over here. You can get to that one too, okay? Oops, that doesn't make sense. 1 beat. I'll do it like that. Okay. And so for the half rest, now what's in between that? So if the whole rest is 4, quarter rest is 1, go ahead and tell me one more time what we would have for our half rest then. It's going to be 2 or 3, right? We have 2 beats for our half rest. Good, okay. So we'll go here, 2 beats. So our whole rest is 4. Our half rest is 2. I'm going to change the way I wrote this. And then our whole rest is 4 beats. So that means we want to apply pretty much the same thing to the eighth rest that we have at the end. Okay, so this is going to be, I'll do this one for you guys, 1/2 of a beat back here, okay? So these little cheat sheets and stuff that I have, I call them cheat sheets, but just our written materials that help us remember some of this stuff is really good just to have nearby. What I want to do moving forward, and perhaps starting next week, is I'm going to put some of this stuff together and see if we can do just like a little bit of a song or a little way to test ourselves on using some of this stuff. So don't worry, I'm going to get to some of that today. We're going to work on just understanding each symbol and what it means, as well as continue to use them in our songs and stuff like that. So I want to take a minute here. Does anybody have any questions about our treble clef or our note rhythms or our rest rhythms? Do you want me to go back to anything before we keep going? Doing okay? Okay, you guys, you just let me know. I see we're still writing over there, so that's good. If you guys are copying this down, I know lots of writing today, but that's okay. I promise this stuff will really help you. It's really going to help you when you work on your music at home. Cool, okay, we'll keep it going here. Okay, so we got our rests, we got our note rhythms, we got our treble clef. Okay, now we have a great start to understanding many of the really, the beginner sort of most common symbols that you're going to see on the staff, okay? I say beginner, but like I said, we use them all the time. So really I should maybe say most common. These are our most common symbols, okay? So now we're gonna check out something that is perhaps a little bit less common depending on what instrument you play, okay? That being said, it's still really important to understand and will help you a lot when you're learning, okay? So I'm gonna bring up something new for us. Let me find it. Here it is. We're gonna check this out, okay? So everybody see what's on the screen here? Go ahead, you guys. Who knows what this is called? Can one of you guys tell me what this is called? Matt? Oh yeah, raise your hand. Okay, I'm gonna get you, Samita. Give me 1 second. I hope I'm saying that right. All right, go ahead. You have your hand raised. Go ahead and tell me, what's that called?
The bass clef.
The bass clef. Yeah, perfect. Really good. Okay, so do you use the bass clef with your instrument?
Yeah.
You do? What do you play?
A piano.
Piano. Okay, great. So you use bass clef, and do you also use treble clef? Nice, but with the left hand, right? The bass clef with the left hand. Very good. Okay, I'm going to put you back mute. Nice job. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly right. And then I have, let's see. Yes, I see. Oh, Alexander. Thank you, Alexander. Cool. Gotcha. I know everybody's names are a little different from their camera, but thank you. Thank you, Alexander. Nice job. So that's very good. So like I said, depends on the instrument you play, but a lot of people use both bass clef and treble clef. I play guitar myself. Mostly treble clef, but sometimes we do get bass clef. Depends on what you're playing. It can be really important sometimes when you're playing. So we're gonna start, and you might know this a little bit, Alexander, but that's okay. We'll go over some of this as well. We're gonna talk about the names of the notes for the lines and the spaces on here, okay? So if you already know them, don't worry, we're gonna go through them slow here, and it'll be a good review. And if you don't know them yet, that's okay. At first, it's gonna look like it's very different from the treble clef. But I think hopefully I'll help you today kind of understand why these are important, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and type out each letter name here, and you can copy this down too, and then I'll give you another little saying to remember some of these. Okay, so here is our bass clef, our notes for bass clef, all right? We have G down here at the bottom, D up here in the middle, F, and then A, okay? So go ahead, if you need to copy this stuff down, you can as well. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get you a little saying for this too, okay? So for the treble clef, we had every good boy does fine. This one, you can kind of switch that. We're gonna split that up, but we're gonna use the same words, okay? So we'll do good boys do fine. And then up here, we're gonna do always, okay? So that's the way, that's just one way I remembered it too. Like I said, these are just to get you started. What's really important is to work on memorizing and remembering those first letters of each one, okay? Because that's what we really use. And actually, maybe I will separate those a little bit just so we know that that's the most important part. So with note reading and with music theory and with music in general, you guys, I'm sure you know that memorization is a really big part of it, right? Remembering some of this stuff is a really big part of it. So don't worry if there's a lot to remember right now. You got lots of time to keep practicing and playing and working this stuff in so that it stays memorable and in your mind, okay? But cool, how are we doing? I want to take another moment here. Do you guys have any questions for me about what we've gone over so far? Doing okay? Okay, all right, that's good. You guys let me know at any point. Very good. So this is a great start for our bass clef, okay? And so what I'm gonna do, probably for our next one, we're gonna work on putting these staffs together as well as talking about what the difference is between them and how we can use them, okay? So you might be wondering, what the letter names are, the note names are for the spaces. Okay, we're gonna have a little bit different ones here as well. Okay, so for our spaces, first space we have A, then C, E, and G. Those are our spaces for our bass clef. So let me move some of this stuff. Move some of this stuff around. I'm gonna get rid of the saying for now. I can put it back, but I wanna make sure that this is in a nice, neat order for you guys so you can keep track of everything. And last time I was doing some of my own handwriting, but I've gotten pretty quick with the digital stuff and it's much better than my handwriting. So I hope that helps you guys. Cool, so another saying you can use for the spaces here. Again, I didn't come up with these, this is just what I learned. This is the one that I used. That's when I have all cars eat gas. Yeah, I don't know. That's just what I had, right?
All cars drink gas instead.
Drink gas. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But we have an E note here, so we have to include that. But I like that. That's good. This another person. I've heard other ones. All cats eat garbage. I don't know, that one's kind of silly too if you like that one. So you could use that. I don't know, like I said, just a good way to remember, okay? It's all about those first letter names because when you see a note on the staff, you want to be able to tell right away if that's an A, C, E, or G. And these little sayings, like I said, just help you get there. Okay, so if you want to copy that down as well, you can. And then again, now we'll have a nice, we'll have our rhythms for our notes, our rhythms for our rests, and then a full cheat sheet for our treble clef and our bass clef. So we're gonna have all kinds of stuff. And we're gonna leave it at that for the new stuff that we're learning and writing down and memorizing, okay? We're gonna spend the next few minutes, we're gonna try to use this stuff now. We're trying to use this stuff, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. Why don't we start, there's one other little point I wanted to get to today actually before we put some more notes on the staff and get a little further. So here's what I'm gonna do for you. I'm going to, fine. I'm going to get another blank one up here, okay? Oh, I have that one selected already. Okay, hold on. Let me bring this one back. So why don't we start? We'll start with bass clef since we were just on that one. So does everyone have that written down? Do we need to go over this again? Are we doing okay? Oh, I got a thumbs up. We're doing all right? Okay, cool. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. We're just going to start real nice and easy for you guys. We're going to write out a C major scale on our bass clef, and then we'll do a C major scale on our treble clef. Okay, so this might be something for some of you guys who might already know this, and that's okay, but we're gonna go through it. We'll go through it, and for this, we can use, let me think. We're gonna use, we'll try to use, let's just put down our note heads first, and then we can talk about if we can add rhythm to them. For our scales, we mostly focus on our notes, okay? So let's do this much if we can. We're gonna start with our C, okay? Does somebody wanna tell me which line or space is our C note on the bass clef, okay? Somebody want to tell me that? Raise your hand, or you could chat. You could tell me which one as well. I'll give you guys a second. It's okay if we don't know yet. I know we're just working on this stuff today. Now, all right, I'll get us started on the first one. No worries, no worries. So let's do this. Our first one here is going to be C, right here. It's our second space, all right? Now, if you guys already know, the notes in a C major scale, oh, we might have lost somebody. Hang on, let me get Alexander back in here. Okay, there we go, sorry. So what we're gonna do here for this one, we're gonna work on putting a C major scale with our bass clef, okay? So for anybody who is just joining in now, or just reconnecting, yes, we're gonna do a C major scale on our bass clef, all right? So we're starting with our C. There's our C note right there. We're gonna go ahead and write this out, each one, all right? So I got us started here with C, D, E, oops. Oh, it won't let me get rid of that one. There we go. All right, C, D, E, F, and then who can tell me what comes after this one? Okay, so we got a few more coming up, all right? So after we have F, let's see if we can get the next two notes. Who can give me the next two notes here? You want to raise your hand or chat them in? Anybody? That's okay. That's all right. I know we're still writing this stuff down, so that's all right if we're not 100% on it yet. I'm going to show you now as we get closer to the top here. C, D, E, F. Of course, we have next. It just goes just like the alphabet. So no trick questions. I know it's these ones. Oh, go ahead, Alexander. Yeah, you got a question? Let me unmute you. Give me a second. Or you can answer that for me. Go ahead.
The last letter is G.
Last letter is G. Very good. I'm going to have you do a couple more too. Okay, so we have G. What comes after that one?
A.
Yep. And then we're going to talk
After
about
A
yes.
goes B.
B, right? Now, what if we want to get the very next note? What do we do if we want to get another C up there? Can you tell me that, Alexander?
We use that like sign, like the A, like the A and then the V for octave.
That's a very good point. Yes, so we're going to
Like
get
the
to
line
that.
and then do like
There you go.
C. Like
Yes, the line. Yes, very good. So we're going to talk about that line today too. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead. Yes, that was very good out there. Great. So we're going to talk about the line, right? So here in our C major scale, we have 7 notes. But if we want to get to that last note, this octave, we need to add a line above our staff, okay? So we call this a ledger line, okay? So this would be our last note here would be our C. Right there, okay? So I'm going to keep this up on the screen for a minute, make sure everyone's got this down, and I'll type a nice little title up here so we know. C major scale on bass clef, okay? And you can copy this down by hand. You could take a screenshot, take a picture if you like, but very good, Alexander. So we're going to take a look now. Yeah, let's take a look at that part. This guy right here. This is called a ledger line, all right? So I'm going to type this in. Let me see if I can just get my fonts and everything sorted out over here. Ledger line. All right, and it's very simple. So a lot of times in music, I tell students all the time, a lot of times in music, you have fancy names or sometimes strange names for something that's actually very simple. So ledger line, I don't know why it's called that, but that's what the name is just for those extra lines on the staff. And you can add as many of these as you like, okay? So now we're gonna try this. We're gonna go backwards too. All right, we're gonna go backwards. So get ready. I'm gonna have another couple questions for you guys, and we'll see if we can get that. So if we go from C, then what do we have? Oops, let me get back to the correct color here. We're gonna go backwards as well. Just a few notes, okay? So we know that our C note, our C scale starts with C and ends with C. All right, so I'm going to keep the circle on that just so you guys know. And this is just a little extra, so don't worry. It's a little extra. Before this note, if we have C, B, we'll just go back a few. We'll just go back a few. So who can tell me what those last 3 notes are on the left-hand side? You want to raise your hand or chat? Let me know. Okay, we got Alexander. Let me get you again. Thank you. You're helping me out quite a bit today. I appreciate it. Anybody else before I call on Alexander? Doing okay? Okay, that's all right. This might be new for a lot of you guys, and that's okay. That's okay. Go ahead and tell me, Alexander. Go for it.
okay. So from C, it goes B, then A, then G.
Yeah, there you go. Great job. Great job. So, even though it seems easy, yes. Oh, I like it. Thank you. Playing for it. Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and play this for me? Can you start from that low G and go all the way up to the high C? Can you play all this? You can start from C too if you would like.
Okay.
Nice. Very good. Okay, go ahead and try this for me, Alexander. Since you're all set up there, can you play the whole scale for me?
Oh, the whole scale. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
give it a try. Give it a try. That's good.
No, wait.
Very close. Awesome. So there's our C major scale, right? I'll go ahead and play that with you. So there's just a great way to get started knowing our notes for this bass clef. So we did a little extra that I was planning just to go down the scale there too. That was just a little extra. If you guys really want to make sure what you have on the page is really important what we have. This will be just about this much, all right? Thank you so much, Alexander. I really appreciate that. So I want to take another moment here. That's just about everything I wanted to cover today. There's always more, of course, but this is a great, great start for everybody, okay? So just to review before we finish up, okay, and then I'm gonna see if anyone has questions or any songs they've been working on that they need help with. But first, we have 4 things that are really important from last week's workshop and today's workshop, okay? First being the rhythms for our notes, okay? I'm actually gonna go through all of these once more. So let me get a picture of my bass clef C major scale, just so I don't lose all my hard work over here too. Boom, there we go, okay. So now what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna go through each part that I had pulled up for you guys, just one at a time, once more, okay? So let me bring up our basic note rhythms, okay? Just doing a quick overview of what we accomplished today, all right? Our basic note rhythms. So this is really great to know. If you don't have this stuff already, go ahead and take a look at this. Basic note rhythms. Then we had our basic rest rhythms, and I can come back to this stuff if you guys need, so don't worry if I'm going through it. Basic rests, right? We covered a little bit of this. Then we were working on we had our treble clef we covered last time as well. Definitely don't want to skip that one. We had our treble clef staff with our notes. And then today we just finished up with our bass clef staff with our notes, which I do have, but I just put it somewhere. Here it is. This one, of course. So of course we just did this one. So if you have all 4 of those, and if not, what I can do for you guys is in preparation for the next workshop, I can upload these files for you guys and have them available. So don't worry. So that way you don't have to catch up on everything. And I maybe should have done that for you guys today, but I had a feeling we might do a bit of review. So I thought it would be good maybe to just go over some of this one more time. But really, really good. I want to take a second now, you guys. I'm going to take that stuff away, so that way if we have any questions, I can come back and open that up. But anybody at all, anybody have questions about what we just went over? How do we feel? Good, thumbs up, kind of so, thumbs down, we're good. Okay, cool. So tell me, did we learn something new today? Did we get some new stuff today? Or did we already know this? Oh yeah, we got some new stuff, okay. I know Alexander over there did a great job. I know you probably knew some of this stuff too, but good job reviewing this as well. And nice job, you guys, okay? So does anybody have any music that they're working on with their teacher that they might have questions for me about? And it's okay if not today. I'm gonna keep asking and we'll get. Yes, questions on music we're working on or no? No, okay, cool, that's all right, that's very good. So as we keep going, you guys let me know if we do have questions. We can go over some of that stuff next week. But these four pictures, I'm gonna upload these for you guys for anyone who is still catching up or maybe anyone new that comes next time. But keep the stuff that you have, okay? If you got your physical versions, keep those with you and maybe put them in a little folder, keep them safe, and you can keep them nearby when you're working on your music, okay? I think this would be a really good place to start. What we're gonna do next week, okay? Keep this stuff together. We're going to put all this together with a song or two, okay? Now, you don't have to play the song on your instrument. If you would like to, we can leave a little time for that. But it's good to have your instrument nearby. But either way, we're gonna talk about just understanding the symbols that we've worked on within a real song that you can play. And then we'll talk about anything new that comes up there as well. Maybe some accidentals, we'll get into that stuff. But I think this is a great start for anybody who's new to reading or even is coming back to it and getting some review. This is all super important stuff. And even just what we went over last week and today, I use all the time. So, and it does go a little bit further. There's a little bit more to know, but this is such a great start. So anyways, I think that was just about it then. If we have no questions or no music that we need to work on right now, then we'll end it off there. Like I said, I'll keep these pictures uploaded for everybody. And if you have any friends or family who's interested in attending this or the next one, let me know. We have a question over there, Matt. Hold on, let me get you. 1 second, go ahead. Oops, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry, Matt. I can't seem to unmute you. It's possible. Can you type your question to me in the chat? Take your time, don't worry, I'll wait for you. I'm sorry, but yes, go ahead. So
he doesn't have a question.
Oh, he was just raising his hand. Okay. No problem. No problem. Okay. All righty, guys. No problem. So great job today. Does anyone want to see any of those other papers before we finish up? We're all good? Okay. Okay, we're all good. Keep that stuff together, guys. I will see you next week for the next one, and we'll put all this stuff to use with a song or two, okay? All right. Thank you so much. I'll stick around if anyone has questions for the next few minutes, but you're free to leave if you got everything you need for today, all right? Bye-bye. I think that's everyone, so we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out now.